it is no surprise that the little cartridges that you buy Switch games on are very small and it's kind of amazing that they're the size that they are, and they can store AAA games on them like Zelda. Like it's kind of mind blowing, because we're talking. I want to say the Vita. I don't know how large the cartridges get for 3DS, but the Vita cartridges, the largest games on there were 4 gigs. And apparently the Switch cartridges come in different sizes for depending on how much space you need for your game. And they are 1 gig, 2 gig, 4 gig, 8 gig, 16 gig, and all the way up to 32 gig on that tiny little card. It's basically, they're basically, a micro. I want to say they're in between the size of like an SD card and a micro SD card. They're more on the SD card size.
Wait, what's an SD card?
An SD card?
Like a memory card?
Seriously? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They remind me of the Nintendo, of the DS ones, but thinner in width. Like just as thin, but like not as wide. You know?
I mean, the fact that we have like a micro SD card that's like literally that small, and you can get like 128 gigs on those.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? But it still is just kind of mind blowing because a Blu-ray disc, which is what the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One use, their highest is 50 gigs on it. They're also a lot cheaper to manufacture, which is apparently leading to some price differences in titles that you can get.
Wait. The cards are cheaper to manufacture?
The cards are more expensive.
Oh, you're talking about the discs being cheaper.
Yeah, the discs are cheaper.
It sounded like you were saying the cards. I was like, what?
No, it's the Blu-ray discs are cheaper. I mean, Blu-ray literally is just plastic.
Yeah.
And you just make it a certain way, you put the label on there, and you do your encoding, you're done. They're fast to make, and yeah, it's a much less involved manufacturing process. So the Switch cartridges, especially the bigger ones, are this is according to Eurogamer. The Switch's physical game cartridges themselves are to blame for some games being more expensive. Like, we're talking about the same game that you can get on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, but if it's on the Switch, there's a good chance it's going to be more expensive than your typical $60 game. Now, the article is on Gamasutra, and I wish they had more information to go on, like specifically, like how much more could we expect these to be. But apparently, this is affecting both the physical versions of the game and the digital versions of the game. Like, let's say if you have to shell out an additional let's say you shell out $70 for a game, that it's $70 both for the cartridge.
Which, how much is Breath of the Wild, by the way?
It's $60.
For the Switch?
It's a $60 title.
Okay, yeah.
But let's just say you get one that like uses more, because Breath of the Wild is probably on a 16 gig.
Oh wow.
Card, because it's 13 point something file size. Let's say you get a 32 gig one, that's going to cost more, so they up the price of the cartridge to $70 to help cover the price.
Like maybe a Super Mario Odyssey, per se. I'm just hoping
not.
that's that big of a game.
It's probably not, just because, well, see, when Nintendo makes something, they're pretty conservative on how big the files get.
Yeah.
I mean, they learned all about that during their N64 days, where they had the cartridges that could barely hold like anything.
So you're saying a third-party game?
Yeah, third-party game, cross-platform game.
32 gig.
So let's say you spend $70 on the cartridge version. You're also going to spend $70 on the digital version, which is kind of odd because you're the one who's providing the storage for it, not the manufacturer.
Wait, you have to pay for it twice?
No. I'm just saying, like, if it's not any cheaper to buy it digitally.
Oh.
But the reason it would be more expensive, like
$70,
is
because the cartridge holds more.
Right, exactly. But Nintendo's rule is that you can't have it be any difference in price between the physical and digital versions. And one of the developers actually has something to say about that. This is Sumo Digital. They said, "We have no issue keeping the price the same across all platforms digitally. Indeed, it was important to us that people wouldn't be penalized by which platform they decided to purchase." They're talking about physical versus digital. So you don't you do penalize though. You're penalizing no matter which way you go. You're charging more for it. So that doesn't really
It would kind of make
up.
more sense to make the digital cheaper. Honestly, it would make more people want to. It would give more of a draw to it because now why not buy the cartridge?
It makes so much more sense to do that because you're not providing me the storage space for it. I'm responsible for providing
That's
the
the
storage.
whole point in buying cartridge now, anyways, right? I mean, otherwise everything would be digital.
Yeah, it gives its own. It comes with its own storage space, so
You don't have to download it or anything. Well, I mean, there's the installation.
Yeah, there's no manufacturing cost for digital. You just put it on your cloud, and everyone is downloading from the cloud. It's not like the overhead is far less than manufacturing the cartridge, making a case for it, which these Switch cartridges come in large cases, and then shipping it to a store where the store it's your savings on digital is so much more. So why not pass those savings on to the consumer that's paying for it when you're not even giving them the storage space? They have to go out, especially with a Switch, and buy an extra SD card to expand the memory because 32 gigs is all that the Switch comes with.
Yeah.
So you're gonna need extra space, and you can only use like 26 gigs because the OS takes up all that other space. And this has been my argument with digital all the time. Like, if digital is going to take off, it needs to be cheaper than physical. So this is not helping that at all.
Yeah.
Not
Which
in
I
the
prefer
slightest.
physical anyways.
Well, me too, because like I said, it's its own storage. Like, I don't have to worry about having...
Also, just the feeling of actually holding it and buying it and owning it is a lot better than just...
It's a lot more satisfying than just download complete.
I mean, that's a minor thing, but it's nicer, I think. Kind of like like Kindles and real books, like how people like to hold the actual
or
book.
people have gotten tired of purchasing albums on MP3, so we've seen a resurgence in vinyl. So, which to me that's a whole
hipster.
That is a whole other topic we could get into.
They sound so much better than other speakers. Well, I'm just right there in the middle with CDs. I'm that guy.
Well, but
So don't mind
CDs are they use the same technology as MP3, so it's not a big difference. But
my car doesn't have an auxiliary cord.
you don't have a car.
Yeah, I do.
You do?
That's we'll talk about that later. But I do have a car.
All right. Well, so this is going to, if we're going to be seeing games come out for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Switch, and there's an obvious visual downgrade for the Switch version just because it's not as powerful, plus you're going to be paying more for the game, that's no good.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt the Switch game sales like you wouldn't believe, because as popular as this has become, and as fast as the units are selling, a lot of people, I would say, are buying this as a secondary game system, but they still have a PlayStation or they still have an Xbox. So when it comes down to buying, whether or not, should I buy it on the Switch? Should I buy this on my other console? They're going to go with their other console unless they really want to play it on the go, which I think it's sad, but a lot of people don't care about playing games on the go. I think people have realized, like, wow, I can play Breath of the Wild, like, while I'm at work and while I'm on my lunch break. Like, I'm sure that people are now realizing, like, hey, this is what's so cool about handheld gaming. You can game anywhere. And this may make people more inclined to gaming on a handheld, but I still think this is going to put the Switch in a bad place with these cartridge prices.